Good day, students. So today we're going to talk about identifying different random techniques in selecting our sample. So for our objectives for today, after the session, you should be able to, number one, define population and sample. 2, illustrate random sampling as it relates to the research. 3, assess what sampling techniques to be used in a different situations related to learner's specialization subject. And lastly, explain the importance of proper sampling in research and in your chosen career path. So with that, class, let's start our lesson with the activity number 1. Anong connect? Okay? So this is a team pair share if we have a face-to-face classes, but now we have the online class. So this is the direction. So from the given illustration, explain the relationship between or the difference, explain the relationship or the difference of population and sample. I'll give you 5 minutes to do this. Write that on your notebook. Okay, so considering that it's already time, let us discuss about the population. A population includes all of its elements from a set of data. The size of the population is the number of observations in the population. For example, ayan, so if sports track has 187 students in both grade 11 and 12, and all of them will be respondents, then we have a 187 as the population size, because that is the total number of grade 11 and grade 12 students. Okay, while sample consists of one or more data drawn from the population, and of course it is the subset or an incomplete set taken from a population or observation of objects. Yan. So for example, if a sports track has 187 students in both grade 11 and 12, and 50 of them are taken to be part of the respondents, then we can say we have 50 as a sample size. Yan. So as I said, population is the totality of the totality or the total number of people or person in a particular group, while population is taken from the population. So in research, collecting data can either be done in the entire population or the subset of this population, which is called as the sample. So if a researcher opts to use sample rather than the population, he must take considerations on the number of samples and how these samples can be chosen out of this target population. Okay? Yan. So, but why do you think we need to get a sample? Why do you think so? Why do we need to take a sample? Anyone? Okay. So with this in this case, class, taking sample instead of population saves what? It saves time, and of course it's cost effective. Next. Okay, what process do we need to take so that our sampling process will be given an equal chance for every individual in the population to be included? Because we don't want to be biased, di ba? Syempre pag may mga raffle, kailangan kasali tayo doon. Hindi tayo pwedeng i-exclude because of that thing. What do you think it's the answer? Okay, so we're going to use the okay, so if your answer is random sampling, then you are correct. Why? Because random sampling is a sampling method of choosing a representatives from the population wherein every sample has an equal chance of being selected. Accurate data can be collected using a random sampling technique. So although we must be careful in using sampling because it has advantages and disadvantages. So it can also be a source of bias and inaccuracy. So you have to choose your sampling technique very well, no? Para maiwasan natin yung bias pagdating sa ating research data. Activity number 2, let's have the scenarios. So analyze the scenario, then answer the questions that follow within your group. Write your answer in your notebook. First question, In an online survey from a nearby areas conducted by CINT, the statistics shows the result of a survey on the kind of sports that 232,220 respondents out of 108.6 million people in the Philippines usually participate in a regular basis for the year 2018. Question is, let's identify the population. So what is the population? Okay, very good. The population here is all Filipinos. How many elements are there in the population? Very good. It's 108.6 million. Next. Who are the sample? Very good. People on nearby areas. Next. How many are selected? Very good answer. 232 and 232,220. Last question. Did the situation illustrate random sampling? Why or why not? Exactly. Siyempre, the answer is no. Not all Filipinos have equal chance of being selected. Why? Why is that so? Because he conducted the survey in the nearby area. So since ang population mo is all Filipinos at hindi naman lahat ng regions sa bansa natin ay nakuha na niya ng sample, then we can say this is a survey. This survey shows bias kasi nga hindi naman lahat di ba? Sabi nga dito from a nearby areas lang siya, so yung pinakamalapit lang sa kanila, yun lang yung kanyang kinuhanan ng sample. With this class, let's define random sampling. As I was saying at this point, we have already known that a random sampling is a process or a technique used by statisticians, researchers, and lay people in choosing a sample from a population wherein all the members of the population have an equal opportunity to being chosen as a sample for the study. So this time, let's do this activity. Ayan. So this activity will help us understand the different ways to randomly select our sample by looking at the following situations. So the first situation, so let's start with the first situation. A researcher writes the name of each student on a piece of paper, mixes the papers in a bowl, and draws 7 pieces of paper. What kind of sampling technique is this? Do you think the situations illustrate a random sampling? Okay, so the first situations class illustrates a simple random sampling. So the pieces of paper corresponds to each student as elements of the population. All of them have an equal chance of being selected as sample by randomly picking 7 pieces of paper in a bowl. So when we said simple random sampling, let's define it. The simplest sampling techniques, also known as the lottery method. Yan. So the first type of random sampling is a simple random sampling techniques. It's the most basic random sampling wherein each element in the population has an equal probability of being selected. They are usually represented by a unique identification number that is written on an equal size and shape papers, and then selection of sample is possible through the lottery method. Random numbers selected to decide which elements are included as the sample. Drawing number of paper is based on the desired number of samples. Okay, so let's go back to the sample, to the same problem earlier. Yan. What if the researcher selects every 7th student from a random list where the researcher tells the class to count and then select those students who count a multiple of 7 numbers? Does this situation illustrate a random sampling? So nag-select siya ng for every 7. Does this illustrate a random sampling? The given situation illustrate the systematic random sampling. From the word itself, systematic, there's a chance, there's a system, there's a rule to be followed. Ayan. Creating every 7th student on a random list create an equal chance for all the students. Selecting every 7th student on a random list of names creates an equal chance for all of the students. The same thing happened in selecting students who count multiples of 7 or for 7 or 14, 21, and so on and so forth. Yan. So the second type of random sampling is systematic random sampling. It is a sampling which uses a list of all the elements in the population, and then elements are being selected based on the k-nth consistent intervals. So to get the k-nth interval, let's divide the population size by the sample size. Example, we have example 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and etc. etc. Okay? So we can use the interval, or you can use this formula to get the interval of your sample. So you have the population, then the sample size that you wanted. For example, kung ang population nyo ay 150, okay? And ang sample size na desire mo is 50. So para malaman mo kung ano yung magiging interval mo, you divide it. So 150 divided by 150 divided by 50, then you will have 3. Ibig sabihin, for every 3 members of the population, yun ang iyong pipiliin as part of your sample. In that case, you have the systematic system kung paano mo pipiliin yung iyong magiging sample space o magiging part ng iyong research. Now, let's go back to the situations. So, what if the researcher separates the list of boys and girls, then draws 7 names by gender? Does these situations random sampling or illustrates random sampling? Okay, so these situations illustrates stratified random sampling because the students were divided into 2 different strata or groups, boys and girls, with the proportional numbers of each group. Samples will then be selected at random from these 2 groups. But questions, ikaw ba ang pipili ng 4 na sample? Of course, the answer is no. You have to be fair as well. Siyempre, ayaw naman natin na maging bias tayo, no? So, because of that, you're going to perform the simple random technique or systematic random sampling. Okay? So, next. Ayan. So, para maiwasan natin ang bias. Okay, so the third type of random sampling technique is stratified random sampling. So it involves the division of population into smaller subgroups known as strata. So the division might depend on the different factors. For example, you're going to divide them according to their age, according to their gender, according to their grade, according to their barangay, and of course, etc., etc. Okay, so let's go back to the situation for the last time. Yan. So what if the researcher surveys all students from 3 randomly selected classes out of 7 classes? Does these situations illustrate a random sampling? Very nice answer. These situations illustrates cluster random sampling since all students are divided into clusters or classes. Then 3 classes were selected at random out of 7 classes. And all of the students of these 3 classes comprised the samples of the study. So take note that each cluster is mutually homogeneous, yet internally they are heterogeneous. When we said homogeneous, magkakapareha sila. Okay? That's why we divide them according to their clusters. Okay? Halimbawa, dinivide na ito cluster 1, cluster 2. So yung bawat clusters na yun, pare-parehas lang. Okay? Unlike dun sa stratified, we group the population or the sample, we group the population according to their what? According to their respective characteristics. But in cluster sampling, kumbaga i-divide lang natin sila into a cluster, into a group lang, without specific kung sino yung mga nakalagay doon. 'Di ba? So with that case, we can say na bawat cluster is homogeneous. Pare-pareha sila. Walang mahusay sa kanila, walang mahuhusay sa grupo na to, walang mahihina sa grupo na to, so pare-pareha sila. Kaya nga sila homogeneous outside, but internally magkakaiba silang tao. Okay, wala silang specific characteristics kung bakit sila nandun sa grupo na yon. Okay? So, yan. Okay, so the last random sampling natin is the cluster random sampling. So it often used for a large population or a large geographic area, no? Obtained by dividing the population into bug groups called clusters. So question, so what's the difference between stratified and cluster random sampling? Because maybe you are wondering ano bang pinagkaiba nito kasi parehas silang di-divide into a group. Okay? So when we said stratified, members of the groups have similar characteristics, but members of the subgroups in cluster have different characteristics. They use smaller in population, but in cluster, use in larger population. For example nito, yung city. Diba, bawat city is nakasubdivide sila into a barangays. O yan, so mga ganun siya. Okay, now let's talk about the probability sampling. Yan, so let's recall pala, no? We have the simple random sampling, the systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling. So the sampling techniques that involve random selection are called probability samplings. Okay, so the things that we discussed earlier is what we called the probability sampling. But there are also sampling techniques that do not involve random selection of data, and they are called non-probability sampling. Ayan. Ano ba itong mga to? So let's define non-probability sampling by filling each blank with a word that will make the sentence correct. Okay, so non-probability sampling is a sampling method in which not all members of the population has or have an equal chance of participating in the study. So what is it? Very good. It is has. Next. How much do you weight? Ayan, sabi nga dyan. How much do you weight? But there are also sampling techniques that do not involve random selection of data, and they are called, as I was saying, a non-probability sampling. An example of this is the convenience sampling, wherein the researchers gathers data from the nearby sources of information, exerting minimal effort. From the word itself, convenience, which means convenient and readily available. Ayan. So, convenience sampling, kung sino lang yung malapit, sila lang yung kanilang bibigyan ng survey. Okay? Hindi na nila kailangan pang lumayo. Katulad ng ginawa sa first activity natin kanina, di ba? So, nearby areas, that's why it's convenience sampling. And this is non-probability sampling, and prone siya sa bias. Yan, prone siya sa bias kasi di ba, hindi lahat ay equal ang chance na mapili to be part of your sample. Yan, convenient and readily available. It is being used by person giving questionnaires on the streets to ask the passers-by. Ayan. Okay? Next. Another one is purposive sampling. So it is also not considered a random sampling since the respondents, the purposive sample, the sample space, sampling selects the sample based on the goal of the study. Yan. So, based on the goal of the studies of the researcher. From the word itself, purposive, di ba? May purpose ka kaya ka nagpapa-survey. At yung purpose mo is nakabase sa goal mo. Di ba? Halimbawa, kung ang goal mo is kumbaga may intention ka, di ba? Based on the goal of the studies of the researcher. Kung ang goal mo is malnutrition, for example, syempre ang bibigyan mo lang ng mga survey yung mga may malnourished na tao. Kumbaga hindi na equal paano yung mga hindi malnourished? Yan. So may mga ganun siya na kung sino lang yung part ng research mo, sila lang yung bibigyan mo para magbukang sila. Halimbawa, Mobile Legends, 'di ba? So paano naman yung hindi nagmo-Mobile Legends? Ayan. So, ganun siya Kaya medyo, rin siya, prone din siya sa bias. Okay, so this one, play a game na yan, which is, kung nasa face-to-face tayo, we're going to do that. So, let's have the activity number 1, independent practice. Ayan. Ay, teka lang. Number 1 pala. So, assess what sampling techniques to be used in the different situations below by writing SRS for simple random sampling, SYRS for simple systematic random sampling, STRS for stratified random sampling, and CRS for cluster random sampling. So, number 1, you are given a list of all graduating students in your school. So, you decide to survey every 10th student on the list and ask them the organization that they belong. So, what is that? Time starts now. Okay, very good answer. The answer is systematic random sampling. Number 2, you wish to make a comparison of the gender differences in athletes competition. You divide the population into 2 groups, male and female, and randomly pick respondents from each of the group. What is that? Very good answer. Stratified random sampling. Next question. You randomly pick 5 out of 15 barangays to conduct your survey in your municipality or city about their best practices during the training of their athletes. What is that? Very good answer. It's cluster. Next, number 4. You write the names of each student in the piece of paper, shuffles, and then draw 8 names to answer a survey on the first aid training. What is that? Very good answer. It's simple random sampling. Last number. You wish to determine the effects of implementing the sports club association in the Philippines. Among the variables, the socioeconomic status of your respondent is your primary concern. What sampling technique would be best? Select your sample for this study. Very good. It is stratified random sampling. Okay, so given the research problem that you submitted to your research teacher, yan, so what is the research problem? Who are your target respondents or sources of data? How are you going to obtain your data? What sampling method would be best for your study? What would you select that method? And why do you think would be the greatest description of a best sample? So this will be part of your research output, at the same time your assignment, and you will be graded according to the following rubric. Now let's have the points to ponder. So you must be honest and avoid being biased in your research, even in your daily lives. Always show fairness and honesty. Information of your next is the confidentiality of the information of your respondents. So we have the data, we have the so-called Data Privacy Act of 2012, an act protecting individual personal information in communication and systems in the government and the private sector, creating for this purpose a National Privacy Commission and for other purposes. Okay, so with that, class, thank you so much and have a nice day.